The number one mistake we make as women is trying to grow in our divine assignment and in our purpose without any fertilizer. You're trying to grow without any fertilizer. Listen, what is the fertilizer? It's three things. Number one, it's patience while you wait. Two, it's self-control while you wait. And number three, it's having a feeling of worthiness while you wait. See, you are in your waiting season. And while you are in your waiting season, it is necessary for you to have patience, emotional self-control, and to feel like you're still worthy of your purpose and your assignment. Hey, I am the creator of the Heal, Grow, Reset movement. I am Rachel Harper of the Rachel Harper podcast. Listen, if you don't want to get left behind out of the Heal, Grow, Reset movement for the next level of your purpose and your divine assignment, listen, go over to womanreset.com and join the coaching community. So I used to be a biology teacher. And so one of the things that I absolutely love about biology, about life, bio meaning life, one of the things that I absolutely love about biology and nature is that it can coincide with how your life works, right? So when you look at plants and trees, when you look at the cycle of a plant, it also can correlate to your life. And so I want to really dig deep into what that looks like for your life, because listen, your divine assignment and your purpose, it needs you to show up in the fullness of the growth that's necessary for you to have your abundance. That's your spiritual abundance, your financial abundance, emotional abundance, relational abundance, physical abundance. And when you don't grow in your growing season, that basically means you're dead, okay? So when I was a biology teacher, we talked about what were the characteristics of life. One of the characteristics of things that are living is it has to be growing. And so you as an individual, you have to be growing. See, the mistake we make from day to day is believing that just because another 24 hours has gone by, that means that we're automatically growing. We're automatically growing wiser. We're growing stronger. And that's not necessarily true. There are some things you have to do in your growing season. And so that's why I say heal, grow, reset. There are some things you have to do when you're in your season of healing, and there are some things you have to do in your season of resetting. And so for any of you, possibly you may be in your season of growing. What does that actually look like? Because we want to move away from making that mistake of believing that just because 24 hours have gone by, that we are absolutely growing in this season. Listen, one thing about your growing season is that it can be tough. It can hurt. It can feel like you're failing. It can feel like God isn't even there listening to you. But I want to show you. I want you to get all those things out of your head. And I want to show you and tell you and have you understand and really realize what your season of growing looks like. So the mistake we make as women, again, is trying to grow in our purpose and in our divine assignment without fertilizer. So today's topic is grow at your own pace. Grow at your own pace, right? So when we look at fertilizer, we've all heard of fertilizer, but let's look at some definitions here. What is fertilizer? Fertilizers enhance the natural fertility of the soil. It enhances the natural fertility of the soil. So let's dig even deeper. What is soil fertility? Well, it is the ability of soil to sustain plant growth and optimize plant yield. So when we break that down, what does that really mean? How can we correlate that with your growth season, with what you're going through? Well, the ability of soil, we're going to look at soil as your purpose or your divine assignment, right? It's the ability of soil to sustain. Sustain means to keep up or to prolong. It means to keep up or sustain plant growth. We're going to look at plant growth as your blessings. And it is to optimize. Fertilizer optimizes plant yield. To optimize means to maximize. Plant yield is how much you get. So you might be saying, well, what does that have to do with my life? So when we break it down, your purpose and your divine assignment, it has the ability to keep up and prolong your blessings, while it maximizes how many blessings you actually receive. So, in other words, when we look at the scripture, your gifts will put you in front of great men. Will it not? Yes, your gifts, whatever your gift or your divine assignment. I talked about spiritual gifts, right? So educating, teaching, speaking, there's many different spiritual gifts. But your spiritual gift, when you work it, it will put you in front of great men. But not only that, you're asking, when will I get my blessing? I'm out here doing all the things. I'm servicing people. I have my business. My business is not really where I need it to be, not where I want it to be. In fact, I think I might have to close the doors to my business. I feel like I'm not thriving. I am just surviving. I'm waking up from day to day and just going through the motions of life. So if that sounds like you, listen, you might be in your growth season. So while you're in your growth season, you're going to need some fertilizer. And what is the fertilizer that you're going to need? Patience. The fertilizer of patience. So when we go scriptural with this, right, we look at Proverbs 16:32. It says, better to be patient than powerful. Better to have self-control than to conquer a city. Isn't that amazing? Proverbs 25:28. Look, when we get down and dirty with the Message version, it says, it is a person without self-control is like a house with its doors and its windows knocked out. Now listen, I know if I had the windows and the doors knocked out of my house, I would have all types of distractions happening. What will be those distractions? Bees, wasps, birds in their bird's nests, squirrels, raccoons, water, rain, snow. It would be so many distractions happening. Cold air, hot air, whatever the case may be. Those are all distractions, right? So a person without self-control is like that person who has the windows and the doors blown out of their house. It's too many distractions. How many distractions do you have in your life right now? How many distractions do you have? Because one distraction is having lack of patience in your season of growth. Now, if you're going to lack patience, you got to be okay with the lack of blessings that might come, right? If you're not going to have patience, then you might be opening doors that God is trying to close. You might be trying to go through a window that God's like, nah, this ain't the right window. I'm not really passing down all these blessings right now. The blessings that we commonly see, right? I'm not going to give you more money. I'm not going to give you a new house. I'm not going to give you a new car in this season because right now I need you to be growing. I need you to be growing in this season. And so when I say heal, grow, and reset, that is intentional. Our lives, there are things we have to heal from. There is bad relationships, bad breakups. There are things where people have hurt us. There are different instances and circumstances that we might have to go through that we have to heal from. After we heal, we then grow. We have to grow through a season where we are having to be patient, where we have to have emotional self-control, where we have to sit when we don't want to sit, where we have to sit still and stand still when we're trying to move. And God is saying, I just need you to be patient in this season because right now it is a season for growth. So when you look at the definition of patience, listen, patience, here it is. It is the capacity to accept or tolerate three things. Can you accept and tolerate these three things? Listen, it is delay, trouble, or suffering. Can you accept or tolerate those three things? Delay, trouble, and or suffering. Because all of them might happen at the same time. Now, not only is it the capacity to accept and tolerate those things, but it says to do it without getting angry or upset. Mind blowing. You mean to tell me that patience means that in this season, I shouldn't be getting angry or upset with the suffering, the delay, or the trouble that's happening? Yes, absolutely. The human experience is that we are going to focus more and get angry about and get upset with and cry over and have these emotional fears, rejection, doubt, shame, unhappiness, feelings of unworthiness, because we believe that delay, trouble, and suffering, we always hear it as being something that is of the enemy. But let me ask you this. What if your delay, your trouble, And your suffering has everything to do with the blessings that God is about to send your way. What if that is the blessing? What if delay is the blessing? What if trouble is the blessing? What if suffering in the season is the blessing? What if that's the blessing? We always think that the open door is the blessing, the open window is the blessing, more money is the blessing, a new house and a new car. We always think that that's the blessing. But what if all of that is delayed? What if all that is causing you to suffer in your season right now? Because listen, you might have a business and it hasn't reached that 6-figure point yet. You might only have reached 3 figures. And you're like, Lord, I'm doing all this work. I'm servicing the people. I'm doing all the things, and I can't seem to reach the next level. You might be saying, man, my relationship, I need it to get better. I'm putting in the work, but for some reason, it still feels like nothing is changing. What if that delay is the blessing? What if that suffering is the blessing? You see, delay, trouble, and suffering is oftentimes the process for you to become a better CEO, a better mom, a better single woman, better emotionally, physically, spiritually. There is always purpose to God's plan. But we have to stop conforming to the world and believing that God's plan only includes when the doors open, when we're living in all this financial abundance. See, sometimes it said in your comfort, you have to be okay. You have to be okay in the complacencies of life sometimes. And so in delay, suffering, and feeling disappointed, don't get upset. Don't get upset about it. It might be a part of the plan. So delay, trouble, and suffering. It's how God prunes those who have a divine assignment and purpose over their life. So anybody who is a gardener, what does pruning mean? Anytime we are pruning plants, trees, anytime you're in your garden and you are pruning your plants, what does it mean? To prune means to trim by cutting away the dead or the overgrown branches or stems. We got to cut that stuff away. Anything that's dead in your pruning season, in your season of growth, it is now time to prune. You got to prune. You got to cut away the dead things. You're staying stuck in relationships that aren't serving you. You're trying to service people who you aren't supposed to be servicing. There's things in this season that you have to heal from. It is God saying, I need to prune. I got to cut away this stuff. This stuff is dead. And you're trying to keep it alive. Sometimes we are asking God to bless things that he's trying to kill, that he's trying to get us to walk away from, that he's saying it is the end of this thing. Why are you asking me to bless it? That's a part of our human experience, but we got to relearn and rethink and stop conforming to what the world is doing and saying and what we're seeing other people doing. Oh, because their relationship looked like it's thriving. Let me stay stuck in this one, even though I know it has come to its end. And you're steady asking God to bless it. And God is just like, yo, I'm trying to prune it. Are you going to allow me to prune this thing? I need you to get this out of the way before you get into your season of reset. Because see, in your season of reset, that's where you really start to thrive. That's where you stop surviving and you start thriving. I need you to cut that stuff away. And so it is for us to sit in a season of growth and really listen, to meditate on the word day and night, to hear. We got to stop talking sometimes. See, sometimes we talk too much. We got to stop talking. See, prayer is talking to God. Meditating is listening. When was the last time that you've listened and tried to hear God's voice? Or better yet, when was the last time you heard God's voice and ignored him? You hear God saying in the relationship. You hear God saying this isn't the right move. You hear God saying you started the business, but that isn't the business I want you to get into. You're supposed to be over here working this gift, but you're over here working that thing that is outside of your spiritual gift because you are seeing somebody else doing it. So you said, oh, I'll go out there and I could do that. But here's the part about pruning that blessed me. All right. And so listen to this. So not only are you trimming and cutting away the dead or overgrown branches or stems, but you're doing this for a reason. You got to be cut for a reason. Those dead things have to go away for a reason. The reason is to increase fruitfulness and growth. Man, that blessed me so much. You mean to tell me that I got to get cut? I got to get rid of the dead things, the things that no longer serve me, the things that are draining my energy, the things that have no use to my purpose. You mean to tell me I got to cut all those things away just so I can have some more fruit, so I can multiply, so I can have abundance? Really? So when it comes to my physical health, in order for me to have fruitfulness and growth, you mean to tell me that I have to change my diet? Okay, I'll cut some of that stuff out. Okay, so you mean to tell me that in order for me to emotionally heal, I might have to cut off the relationship I'm in that isn't serving me, that I know is over, but I'm staying stuck in it out of comfort? Okay, God, I guess I could do that. So, God, what you're telling me is that right now I'm being cut and I feel like I'm suffering and things are delayed and I'm in trouble because you're trying to increase the fruitfulness and the growth of my emotional healing? Oh, okay, I get it. I get it now. Okay, so you're saying that when it comes to my business, that I'm not making as much money as I can because you're trying to change my mindset. So right now, my mind is keeping me stuck in a mindset of scarcity because I grew up in poverty. And so now I have a poverty mindset, and you're trying to get me out of having that scarcity mindset because you said I can have abundance. Oh man. So God is in the season of cutting, of pruning, because he wants you to have abundance, right? So if this is your pruning season, this is what I want you to do. Be patient. Be patient, because you have to also think about your life. What is God trying to show me? What is God trying to tell me? What area of my life is he trying to prune? Is he trying to cut? Is he trying to get rid of the dead things that aren't serving my next season of reset? What is it that he's trying to get rid of? And it's not for you to be angry in this season and to be upset in this season. Yes, you could be disappointed, right? That is a human emotion. But when you change your mindset to say, maybe this door is closing and that is my blessing, because that's not the route I'm supposed to be on. Maybe that relationship didn't work out because it is actually a blessing. God was trying to prune me because he knew I couldn't take that relationship in this next season of my life. It wasn't going to serve me because I was going to be spending way too much time focused on my relationship and not focused on serving the people that I'm supposed to be serving. I wasn't going to be focused on my divine assignment. I wasn't going to be focused on what God needed me to do because I was spending too much time over there trying to worry about what they were doing. So God had to cut that thing. Oh, I get it now. I get it now. So 1, be patient. But number 2, run at your own pace. If this is your pruning season, if this is your season of growth, cutting away dead things, the mindset that don't serve you, the emotional drainage that don't serve you, the unhealed trauma that's not serving you, then know that you are in your season of growth, which means you have to be cut. You got to be pruned. Those dead things got to go away. All right? So be patient. Don't be angry about it. Say, okay, God, I hear what you're saying, and I'm going to run at my own pace. I'm not going to compare my life to these other people, right? I want my business to thrive. I want to thrive as a CEO. I want to thrive as a wife. I want to thrive in my season of singleness. I want to thrive because now I've gone back to college and I need it to actually work out in my favor. So even though things is shaky right now, even though things hurt and I feel like I don't hear God's voice, he's actually pruning me. He's actually cutting things away so that I can have the next season of my life in which I reset and I reinvigorate and I'm rebooted and things are just moving at this pace of a cougar, right? So here's the thing. So when we put the scripture on it, I want to give you 2 scriptures. I'm going to leave you with 2 scriptures. So Galatians 6 and 9, it says, let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time, we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Romans 5 and 3:5 says, we also glory in our sufferings because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance character, and character hope. So what do you say? Are you in your season of growth? Are you in your season of being pruned? Are you in your season of suffering and feeling like you're not hearing God? Well, listen, in that season, have patience. It's so necessary because for you to get to the other side, you have to be able to grow at your own pace. Like, comment, and subscribe to this podcast, and I will see you next Friday.